I'm here in Shrewsbury with Amanda, CEO and founder of Shropshire Supports Refugees, to hear about some of the things social care employers should be thinking about on their journey to being a welcoming employer of refugees, migrants and asylum seekers. And before we get into everything, Amanda, it'd be great if you could tell us about yourself, your job role and some of the things that your organisation does.
We are experts in the field of making people feel welcome and supported, and our services grew over the years to offering volunteer support, English practice, and then we started getting little grants through the door and became a not-for-profit CIC, which I ran until last year, and we're just closing it now, but we opened up the charity in 2021. So now we have a fabulous team of trustees, and we are now the main resettlement charity in the county. So we now spend all our time responding to the various cohorts that come through to Shropshire.
Thank you so much for that. We know that getting the recruitment process right is incredibly important. Could you talk about some of the things that an employer might be doing to support refugees, migrants, asylum seekers, to get the recruitment process ethical, fair? What might some of the people you support be looking for out of an employer in that first process?
I think the first thing to assume is that the countries that people are coming from have very different systems in place. They don't have the NHS. They don't necessarily have a benefits system. They don't necessarily know how our care systems work, the structure of things. And, I think it's a good place to start to ask the questions before you enrol somebody, that to ensure what they do know about how the systems work and how it all links up with the job centre and the benefits system and housing benefit and the health services, and ensure that they're aware of how that organisation works and their line of reporting, their cultural expectations within the company, but also that they're aware of how the British society works. There is going to be a difference between people that have come over here, through no choice of their own, through war, persecution and extreme poverty. They would have also experienced a certain level of trauma. But if you understand trauma, and I suggest anyone thinking of employing refugees and migrants, or even people from abroad, should upskill themselves and their staff to learning trauma-informed practice. I think being trauma-informed should allow employees to spot things as they arise and say, have you thought about this? So there's lots of complexities to employing traumatised people, which is different, again, to employing people that have come from unfortunate circumstances, from maybe countries that are experiencing poverty, but then maybe not having been through that high level of high-risk life or death trauma that a lot of refugees have.
Yeah.
So what we find is that these people need extra help and support to feel included, to feel welcomed, and to feel relaxed, and to feel a part of things. And so it is about really being aware of your active listening skills, your facial expressions, your body language, and not assuming that they just simply understand how British society works. Certain little examples we could talk about.
In terms of things before they arrive, I know you said making them feel comfortable was incredibly important. So would things like, I know transparency about the job role, for example, is something that's talked about, having clear contracts and things in people's own languages. Are those some of the things that employers might be able to think about when they're hiring someone from another country?
They would be super useful, absolutely. But there is a cost involved in getting legal documents translated. We use a lot of informal interpreters for a lot of work we do, but if we were ever going to translate something formal, we would pay for that to get done properly.
Yeah.
And so you do need to have that, I guess, in mind.
How important is it that before you hire someone that, like the people you support, that you know you have the means to support them in place within your own organisation, not doing it and then on the back of that putting it in place, but having it ready.
Absolutely. I think that would be the best practice, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So, in almost every town and certainly every city, there is a refugee and migrant organisation like mine that would welcome the chance to support and advise people and facilitate interviews and facilitate recruitment processes. Reach out to your local support groups. There's some large nationals that everybody can Google: Refugee Council, Refugee Action, Migrant Help are just a few that I would say go to and scour their websites for advice and guidance.
Could you talk a bit more about some of the things an employer could do, perhaps mental health support, recognising a trauma-informed approach within their institution? What are some of the things that they could be doing to help those people stay on in their role?
All of those things and more. It's an investment. If they can stretch to health programs, access to mental health support, that would be amazing. If they can't, then they certainly need to get somebody, whether it's someone in their HR team or whether it's an allocated trauma-informed member of staff, to research what's in the local area, to encourage their staff to attend men's groups, talking groups, walking groups. It's all happening out there these days. So bringing that information into your teams, making people aware of it, making it part of their regular staff meetings, touching base with people. How are you doing? How's your work-life balance? What can we do to make things a bit easier? That stuff's just, it's sensible.
Amanda, we know that spotting signs of exploitation, modern slavery is really important. Could you talk to any of the resources that are available to support staff and to help them spot the signs and employers spot the sign?
Yes, absolutely. There is a plethora of material online. That you mentioned the gla.gov website that actually collates loads of other websites that you can go to, which is why I like that website so much. But a lot of these websites and access to resources that are available will produce booklets that you can leave lying around, posters that you can put up on your walls, warning against scams, warning against loan sharks, warning against unscrupulous people. And of course, I do feel that everybody in any professional setting should be trained to spot signs of slavery, trafficking and exploitation, because it's happening in every single town. No matter how rural it is or how urban it is happening. And I believe strongly that this training should be across the board. These are the signs, and this is how to report it to the NRM, the National Referral Mechanism, and just raise awareness in your staff team.
How important is values-based recruitment? And would you recommend that as an approach for people thinking about recruiting in this space?
I think values is, especially in the care sector, people have got to be doing the job because they care. They care about the people that they're supporting. So please make sure you do those checks when you're bringing people in, that they are there for the right reasons and not just because they're desperate for money.
Thank you so much.